All of you, switch on your video. Quickly. Afia, Atre, Daksh, Dia, Galau, Hetwi, Jia, Mahavir, Meet, Netra, Samarth. So in the last class, we have seen that countercurrent mechanism and the micturition, and one more small topic, that's the roles of other excretory organs, right? Next, today we are going to learn that regulation of kidney functions. Regulation, जैसे आपने learn किया that regulation of digestive organ function, respiratory organ function. Now we are going to same way cardiac activity you learn. In this chapter, we are going to learn that regulation of kidney functions. Basically, hormones are there. These hormones regulate the kidney functions. Okay, hormones are there. Hormones regulate the kidney functions. In that, hormones which are secreted from the hypothalamus, hormones which are secreted from the JGA, Juxtaglomerular Apparatus, and hormone which is, or one of the factor that is released from the wall of atria of heart. That things that all together helps in to regulate the kidney functions. In that, the first one that we are going to learn, that hypothalamic feedback mechanism. Hypothalamic feedback mechanism, that is function that shows their action in which condition. So when our body fluids, okay, excessive loss of body fluids occur from the body, okay, in the blood, that's a body fluid, that's a water content, basically water content, salt, okay, that will be reduced. So in short, that's a when body fluid concentration get reduced, that amount get reduced. At that time, this hypothalamus control this activity, control the kidney functions, right? How? So when excessive loss of fluid from the body, when this thing occur during generally vomiting, diarrhea, this thing occur, excessive loss of fluid from the body, right? So at that condition, in brain, particularly which region? Mm, okay, Shreya. See, particularly into the brain, in hypothalamus part. Okay, in brain, that's the hypothalamus region is there. This hypothalamus has osmoreceptors. Okay, hypothalamus region, over there osmoreceptors are present. These osmoreceptors, okay, when excessive loss of body fluid is there, these osmoreceptors become active. This, and due to the activation of these osmoreceptors, hypothalamus give a message to which one? Posterior pituitary. Okay, pituitary gland आपने सुना होगा. Pituitary gland, it has three lobe, particularly two lobe, anterior and posterior, right? So posterior pituitary is there. Another name of posterior pituitary here, that's a neurohypophysis, right? That's a which one? Neurohypophysis. So first, remember excessive loss of body fluid. If this condition arise in body, then what happen? First, the osmoreceptors are present in hypothalamus in brain that becomes activate. Osmoreceptors detect this thing in the body that water salts get reduced, that amount is reduced. So what happens? This hypothalamus do what over here? It sends the message to posterior pituitary. Once posterior pituitary get message from this hypothalamus, posterior pituitary release one of the hormone that name ADH, or another name is vasopressin. ADH full form is what? Note down, all of you. Anti-diuretic hormone. Okay, anti-diuretic hormone. Right? Antidiuretic hormone. Diuretic meaning what? Diuretic meaning dilute urine. Dilute urine meaning more amount of water loss. Dilute का meaning क्या होता है? Water amount is more, salt amount is less. Na plus Cl minus, these things are there in urine. Okay, so water amount is more, salt amount is less. So we can say that if this thing happen present in urine, we call dilute urine. So already loss हो रहा है, excessive loss है body fluid, and if dilute urine is passed out, just imagine dilute urine is passed out. That one, what happened over here? More and more amount of water and salts loss. Still, that's the more and more amount of body fluid loss. So to stop this, antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone meaning what? This hormone prevents to release the dilute urine outside. This hormone and ADH or vasopressin prevents to release dilute urine, and that you condition you call diuresis. It prevents what? Diuresis, right? So ADH, antidiuretic hormone, or another name is a vasopressin, that is secreted from the posterior pituitary. That hormone, okay, from the posterior pituitary, this hormone is released into the blood. Through the blood, it reaches to the kidney, particularly which part? DCT and collecting duct. It stimulates this DCT and collecting duct. And then DCT and collecting duct shows what? More and more reabsorption of water. More and more reabsorption of water. So water amount get reduced now into what? Urine. So by this way, it prevent diuresis condition. So once the ADH release, ADH or vasopressin released, it stimulates DCT and collecting duct to reabsorb more and more amount of water, right, from the urine, and prevent which condition? Diuresis. So dilute यूरिन की जगह पे अभी कैसा यूरिन पास होगा? Concentrated यूरिन, जिसमें वाटर कम होगा, water amount get reduced, right? Next, and that leads to what? Once the concentrated urine formation start, okay, releasing of concentrated urine, then gradually it increases the body fluid volume. Once the body fluid volume get increased, again osmoreceptors are there in hypothalamus, okay, जो switch on हो गए थे when excessive loss of body fluid is there. So during this time over here, that once the body fluid level increase, this osmoreceptors get switch off. Now this osmoreceptors not send the message, means these are present on hypothalamus, right? So now the hypothalamus stop giving message to this posterior pituitary. So in response to that, posterior pituitary do what? Stop releasing this hormone ADH, right? ADH release gets suppressed to complete the feedback. जो excessive loss होता था उसको क्या, कौन से condition पे कर दिया now? Normal condition, right? So entire mechanism with the help of the first hormone, that's the ADH. Okay, this one basically we call it's a, no doubt it's a secreted by posterior pituitary, but the main triggers stimulation given by hypothalamus. So that's why this feedback mechanism we call it a which hypothalamic feedback mechanism, right? Excessive loss of fluids from the body. Due to that, osmoreceptors which are present on hypothalamus get activated. Hypothalamus send message to posterior pituitary. So posterior pituitary release vasopressin or ADH. ADH release into blood, come to the DCT and collecting duct. That is their main target site. Okay, the ADH acts on this. So more and more reabsorption of water can take place from urine and prevent the diuresis. By that way, it increases the body fluid volume, and once the body fluid volume increase, osmoreceptors get switch off, ADH releasing process stop, and by this way it completes the feedback. बोलिए clear है? See, once the body fluid get reduced, okay, ADH जो है, ADH actually acts as a one kind of vasoconstrictor also. ADH acts as a also which one vasoconstrictor, right? And once the vasoconstriction, you know, vasoconstrictor means vessels get contract, so blood pressure get increased. Once the blood pressure get increased, it increase what? Even GFR, glomerular filtration rate, right? If BP falls down, blood pressure falls down, GFR भी क्या हो जाएगा? Falls down. GFR, you know, 125 ml per minute, right? That values get changed when blood pressure reduced. So to maintain that, for that, blood pressure should be increased, and that thing can be provided by this one of the hormone ADH. So ADH do vasoconstriction, increase blood pressure and increase GFR. Same way आपने एक रेनिन के लिए भी लर्न किया था, if you recall, juxtaglomerular apparatus. Recall that? Okay, juxtaglomerular apparatus हमने लर्न किया था, macula densa, yes, correct, JG cells. Okay. So now second that we are going to learn mechanism that is controlled by, okay, that thing is controlled by the which one? Juxtaglomerular apparatus. Right? Juxtaglomerular apparatus. In that, not only the renin is there. Can you tell me? Renin is secreted by which cells? Renin is secreted by which cells? Write down all of you. Yes, correct. JG cells, juxtaglomerular cells, right? Can you give me the location of these JG cells? Present where? JG cells present with correct Zenil, right? Afferent arteriole. Okay. So afferent, correct Bia. Afferent arteriole is there, Galav, correct. Over that JG cells are there. So again, when blood pressure low, again, what condition? Same like one of the thing that's hypothalamus helps it by ADH hormone. Second thing that when blood pressure low, that reduces the glomerular filtration rate, because you know pressure should be high to for ultra filtration, right? So blood pressure get reduced means GFR भी क्या हो जाएगा? Reduced हो जाएगा. So once the low glomerular filtration rate is there, so which cells get activated? JG cells. JG cells secrete what? Renin. Now, renin, for this renin, one line explanation. It's a basically enzyme. This renin is an enzyme, but behaves like a hormone. Remember, ये peculiarity है. The renin which is secreted by the Ch cells. It's a basically an enzyme, but behaves like what? Hormone. Right? Now, here into the liver, one of the by the liver, one of the compound is formed. That name is this one, angiotensinogen, which is a one kind of plasma protein. आपने एक लर्न किया ना, immunoglobulins are there. बोलिए जुगल.
हेलो मैम.
बोलो.
मैम आज एंजियोटेंसिनोजन છે ઇનએક્ટિવ ફોર્મ છે ને?
Yes, yes. I am coming to that point. Okay. So liver basically liver one of the secretes one of the compound, that's the angiotensinogen, which is a one kind of plasma protein. Okay, that is present in the blood plasma. Next, Jugal, any other question? Okay, so this angiotensinogen secreted by liver come to the blood plasma and remain in an inactive form. Because ogen word is there, you know, zymogen, ogen, pepsinogen, trypsinogen, we have learned now, right? Ogen term indicates what? Inactive form of compound. So this one remain in inactive form. Whenever the requirement is there, it converts into active form. Otherwise, it remains in a which form? Inactive form. Angiotensinogen. Now, so when GFR is reduced, at that time, this renin, which is secreted by JG cells, okay, see, once the JG cell, blood capillary is there, JG cell, afferent arteriole and understand. So blood में क्या आ गया? Renin by JG cells. Blood में already क्या present होता है? Angiotensinogen. Okay, angiotensinogen. So once the renin is there, once the renin come to the blood, at that time, this angiotensinogen converts into angiotensin 1. First, it converts into what? Which compound? Angiotensin 1. Right? Then this angiotensin 1, again with the help of this renin same, it converts into one more compound, angiotensin 2. And this is the main compound, which is a main powerful vasoconstrictor. Vasoconstrictor meaning, understand, okay, that induces the more contraction of vessel. Right? More contraction is there, so pressure will increase or decrease. Tell me. अगर कुछ भी है आपके पास, उसको आप more contract कर रहे हो, press कर रहे हो, so pressure will increase or decrease?
Pressure will
Tell
increase.
me. Pressure will increase, right? So angiotensin 1, then it converts into angiotensin 2, and this angiotensin 2 now shows dual function. One, that is acts as a powerful vasoconstrictor. Vasoconstrictor है, that's why it increase what? Blood pressure. Blood pressure increase होगा, glomerular blood pressure increase होगा, तो क्या हो जाएगा? GFR also increase. Right? Increase meaning what? जो low हो गया था ना, suppose 100 हो गया था, तो उसको कहाँ पे ले आता है? नॉर्मल केस 125, तो 100 to 125 वो increase हुआ in terms of that. Right? Next, second thing is what? Angiotensin 2, that even activates. Second role is what? Adrenal cortex. Now, kidney is there, right? On the kidney in humans, a cap-like structure is present. That structure you call adrenal gland, which is a one kind of endocrine gland. Adrenal gland has two parts. When we study the anatomy, you will learn in chapter number 22 last, hormones, that outer part you call cortex and inner part you call medulla. This cortex secrete one of the hormone that what? Aldosterone. Okay. So जैसे ही angiotensin 2 blood में आता है, it reach to the adrenal gland also, right? Adrenal gland is also the target site. Once the adrenal gland receive this angiotensin 2, कौन सा पार्ट एग्जैक्टली स्टिम्युलेट होगा? कॉर्टेक्स, एड्रिनल कॉर्टेक्स. And from the adrenal cortex, this aldosterone hormone release. Aldosterone hormone release हो गया, तो अभी इसका क्या फंक्शन है? So that again works on DCT. Aldosterone again works on what? DCT, distal convoluted tubule. Here it induces what? Reabsorption of sodium and water. If you recall, पता है DCT में एक लाइन लिखा था, कंडीशनल रीएब्जॉर्प्शन, यस और नो? जब हम फंक्शंस लर्न कर रहे थे ना, so in that we have learned this conditional reabsorption. This is the condition actually. Okay, when on DCT these hormones, ADH भी DCT पे वर्क करता है, aldosterone भी किस पे वर्क करता है? This DCT. When this hormone stimulates the DCT, then DCT involved in reabsorption of sodium and water, right? See, reabsorption of sodium. आपने इन जनरल ये सुना है दैट जिसको बीपी ज्यादा होता है तो उसको सॉल्ट कम लेना चाहिए, यस और नो? हैव यू एवर हर्ड दिस थिंग?
Yes, ma'am.
है ना? सो इज Na+ ये सब क्या है? सॉल्ट ही है बेसिकली. तो बीपी अगर लो है तो उसको सॉल्ट लेना चाहिए. बीपी लो है देन ईट सॉल्ट, इजंट इट? सो सेम थिंग ओवर हियर, दैट जो ब्लड प्रेशर रिड्यूस्ड हो गया है, ओके, और उसको इंक्रीज करना है तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? जो सॉल्ट्स है which are present still in this DCT part, right? So that should be absorbed. So Na+ and water from the DCT get reabsorbed, and more amount of this Na+ increase, that leads to what? Increase in blood pressure. And once the blood pressure increase, ultimately it increases what? GFR, right? So this angiotensin 2, with the help of that property, that's a vasoconstrictor, also helps in to increase GFR. It also stimulates the adrenal cortex to release aldosterone hormone. Aldosterone works on what? DCT. So DCT क्या करेगा? It reabsorb more and more amount of salts, and means Na+ particularly, and water. And once the more amount of Na+ increase, right? Salt में पता है ना, जो salt, the NaCl is there basically. Just edible salt we use. Okay, that leads to what? Increase the BP, and by that way it increase the GFR. बोलिए, इतना क्लियर है? फर्स्ट राइट डाउन yes or no. If you have any doubt, I can repeat. બોલીએ શ્રેયા.
Ma'am, એડ્રીનલ કોર્ટેક્સ છે એ ત્યારે જ એક્ટિવેટ થશે ને જ્યારે એન્જીયોટેન્સિન એના કોન્ટેક્ટમાં આવશે.
Yes, yes,
Okay, ma'am.
right. चलिए, so here if you can make out, देखिए एक रेनिन हार्मोन ने वर्क किया, रेनिन, another is angiotensin, and third one is aldosterone. ये तीनों वर्क करते हैं together over here in one system. Okay, it's a basically multi-hormonal complex system. So this system you call, commonly we call RAS system, renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, right? Renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. So one word, that's the RAS system, remember. Okay, if anyone asks you, explain the RAS system, explain this in that case. બોલીએ શ્રેયા.
મેમ, અગર એક્ઝામમાં આવી રીતે આઈજીએ મેકેનિઝમ પૂછ્યું કે આ રાસ સિસ્ટમ પૂછ્યું તો આપણે આવું ફ્લોચાર્ટના ફોર્મમાં ડ્રો
You can
કરવાનું
write. You
કે
can write in this way or in paragraph form. Both are acceptable.
ઓકે મેમ.
right? And then now लास्ट वन, ये तो हमने क्या लर्न किया कि बीपी इंक्रीज करना है, लो हो गया तो इंक्रीज करना है. ओके, सिस्टम डू फर्स्ट बाय देयर ओन सेल्फ. बट इफ बीपी गेट इंक्रीज्ड, देन ग्लोमेरुलर फिल्ट्रेशन, जो जीएफआर का जो प्रेशर है, दैट विल बी इंक्रीज. देन okay, that is the also condition. So during that time, this ANF mechanism work. Okay, ANF, atrial, full form is what? Atrial natriuretic factor. Atrial natriuretic factor. Again, it's a one kind of hormone. It's a one kind of hormone, ANF. Name suggests atrial, right? Related to atria, heart. So wall of the, suppose this is the heart, auricle and ventricle. So once the blood, okay, that flows from the atria, and atria receive this thing, okay, sense this thing, that if the blood which is coming into the atria, see heart के अंदर blood पहले atria में ही आता है, फिर atria ventricle को supply करता है, right? So once the this atria receive the high pressurized blood, okay, high pressurized blood, then wall of atria release one of the hormone. This hormone is which one? ANF, atrial natriuretic factor. And फिर ये ANF क्या करेगा? देखिए, ANF ब्लड में आ गया अभी, ओके, फिर ये ब्लड बाहर आ जाएगा जिसमें ANF है. This ANF do what? Vasodilation. अगर प्रेशर इंक्रीज करना है तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? कॉन्स्ट्रिक्शन, मोर प्रेशर देना पड़ेगा ऑन वेसल्स, राइट? एंड प्रेशर को over here, to decrease the pressure, vessel should be dilate, vessel should be more dilate, right? So this one ANF over here, that acts as a what? Vasodilator. अगर lumen size increase हो गया, by dilate meaning what? Widen कर देना, more widen. देखिए, अगर blood इसमें से flow हो रहा है from this part, if blood is flow, and from this one now blood is flow, can you tell me in which one the more pressure is there, A or B? In which one the more pressure is there? Yes, A में ज्यादा होगा, narrow diameter है, more pressure, constrict, right? But B में vasodilator condition है, right? So it dilates, widen the vessel. So pressure will decrease, and that thing helps in to decrease the blood pressure, right? And this basically, ये ANF vasodilation तो है, it helps in vasodilation. One more thing, ANF also do what? It inhibits the release of renin from JG cells, right? JG cells जो renin secrete करता है for what? To increase the blood pressure. So just imagine, अगर वो blood pressure increase ही करता रहेगा, then it gets trouble later on. It creates a trouble, na? So to stop this thing, ANF helpful. ANF do what? It stop the secretion of renin from JG, right? So once the renin secretion stop, so angiotensin form nahi hoga. Angiotensin is not formed, then adrenal gland cortex region get not stimulated, so no reabsorption of that sodium and water, and gradually what happen? Blood pressure will decrease. बोलिए, clear हुआ this topic? Regulation of kidney function. So many of you, okay, you have switch off your વિડિયો મેડમ રિમૂવ કરી દો જે ઇન્સ્ટ્રક્શન ના ફોલો કરે ને રાઈટ now quick question answer form revision, right? When excessive, okay, quickly write down. When excessive loss of body fluid is there, then which receptors get activated? Which receptors get activated when excessive loss of body fluid is there? Correct. Osmoreceptors. Osmoreceptors are located where? Particularly which part? Brain may be particular which part? Correct. Hypothalamus. Right? So hypothalamus send message to hypothalamus send message to okay Jaiti. Hypothalamus send message to correct posterior pituitary. So posterior pituitary do what? It release correct vasopressin or ADH. ADH, remember, anti-diuretic hormone, full form. Okay, so ADH acts on ADH acts on ADH acts on correct Gallo. Collecting ducts and DCT. Correct. Next. So they do what? Collecting duct and DCT क्या करेंगे? Reabsorption of water. Correct. And by this way, it prevents what? All of you give answer. Yes. Still some are resting. Correct. Prevent urination, wrong answer. Diuresis is the correct answer. Good. Yug Patel. Right. Chaliye, next. And by that way, the body fluid volume increase. Once the body fluid volume increase, osmoreceptors get switch off. Okay, now they are not sending the message to the posterior pituitary to release ADH. Chaliye, next. Second thing. Next, that's the regulation by juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay, in that first, this tell me first of all, juxtaglomerular apparatus shows their action when blood pressure or GFR that low or high. Correct. So when this low GFR is there at that time, first of all, which cells get activated? पता है ना मैक्यूला डेंसा रीजन DCT में होता है that sends this and message to this JG cell. Yes, JG cells, right? JG cells release what? JG cells release what? Renin, right? Renin that helps in conversion of renin acts on which compound? Correct. Angiotensinogen. Okay. This angiotensinogen converts into write down. Yes. Angiotensin 1. Next. Atre, Bhavya, Disha, Jaiti, Jia, Kush. Okay. Angiotensin 1, right? That converts into further angiotensin 2 with the help of renin. Angiotensin 2, that is powerful vasoconstrictor or dilator. Bhavya, write down answer. Book के pages turn कर रहे हो सिर्फ. Correct. Vasoconstrictor, right? By vasoconstrictor, it helps into increased GFR. Secondly, this angiotensin acts on or that activates the which gland? That activates the which gland? Correct. Adrenal. Adrenal gland, particularly which region? Correct. Adrenal cortex. So release which hormone? Aldosterone. Correct. Aldosterone acts on which part of nephron? G.R. Rathod, not a single answer. Mutahir, Samarth, Vandana. Madam, note down કરી રાખજો પછી parents ને inform કરવા ચાલે. G.R. Rathod, Mutahir, Samarth and Vandana. Chalo. Next. So DCT, that reabsorbs sodium and water, right? And by that it increase the blood pressure and in a way increase the GFR. Okay, when the blood pressure that increase, then more GFR हो जाएगा तो उसको reduce करना पड़ेगा. For that, which hormone is released? Which hormone is released at that time when blood pressure is more? Correct. Chicle. All. Yes. ENF. Right? ENF that acts as a ANF acts as a vasodilator. Correct. One, it's a vasodilator, so it decreases the blood pressure. And I have informed you one more thing. ANF even inhibits the secretion of which hormone? ANF inhibits the secretion of which hormone? Correct. Yes, yes. Very good, very good. आपको भी ऐसा कुछ स्टिम्युलेशन ट्रिगरेशन देना ही पड़ता है ना, then you can give the your best. Lazy people. चलिए. Correct. That's the renin. Renin, which is secreted by the JG cells. तो उसको stop कर देता है. Right. And by that way, the blood pressure can maintain. Right. Very good. Very good response. Now the last topic, okay, of this chapter, that is disorders. Okay. Today I am not giving you break. ओके, अदरवाइज ये टॉपिक इनकम्प्लीट रह जाएगा. So now we are going to learn the disorders of the excretory system. Can you tell me, our kidney, what is the major role of our kidney? Why kidneys are required?
To filtrate nitrogenous waste.
Correct, to filter the nitrogenous waste. Which one? Which is the nitrogenous waste?
Urea.
Correct. That is the which one? Urea. Okay. Now, so if kidneys function get disturbed, malfunctioning of the kidneys, right? Kidneys cannot be able to excrete it out or filter the blood in which the urea is there. So what happened? Now urea not coming into the urine, urea remain into the blood. So into the blood, urea level get increased, accumulation of urea, and that condition you call uremia. Remember, क्या words है इसके लिए? Uremia meaning what? Accumulation of urea in urine, नहीं, in what? In blood. Okay, this word is very important because MCQs में यहीं पे trouble हो जाता है कि urine tick करे या blood. Remember, accumulation of urea into the blood, more amount, because now kidneys can't able to do this. Urea को remove नहीं कर सकता kidney. At that time, uremia occur. And in such patients, right, urea, you know, it's a one kind of the toxic substance. Right, once that level get increased, it becomes toxic. So it's necessary to remove the urea from the blood. And for that, dialysis is required. Dialysis, we can say that one kind of artificial kidney, right? One kind of artificial kidney which helps to increase, which helps to remove the urea from the blood. Blood को purify करने में help करता है, right? So now we are going to understand this process, that's the hemodialysis, right? Please focus over here, right? Now, how the hemodialysis occur when uremia is there? So first step, from the artery, okay, from the which part? That's the artery. Blood is pumped out, okay? Blood drained from the which one? Artery. याद रखना, vein नहीं. Which one? Artery. Artery में से blood लेना. And that blood should be pumped into this dialyzer unit in which the filtration occur. Urea get filtered. Now, so blood is taken outside. You know, blood जब अगर कहीं पे भी कट लगता है ना तो blood बाहर आता है. After some time blood will become thick. Yes or no? Have you observed this thing कि blood को just vessel से बाहर आने दो, then it will become thick. तो यहाँ पे तो procedure करना है. And one thing, per dialysis actually 8 to 10 hours is required. Okay, dialysis के लिए कितना टाइम चाहिए? 8 to 10 hours, right? So just imagine कि 8 to 10 hours के लिए आपका okay, patients का blood actually that come outside, then what happen? It should not be coagulate. It should not be the clot actually, right? So for that, yes, Kalav, correct, right? Already we know that into the system, into the vessel, you know that the heparin is there. In our body, that's the heparin is there. Heparin acts as an anticoagulant. That's why in vessel, blood always remain in a fluid form. But vessel से जैसे ही बाहर आ जाता है, right? It start forming a clot. So over here, before entering into this dialyzing unit, this blood in that, first of all, more amount, additional amount of heparin is added. Why? Because to maintain the blood in a fluid form. To maintain the blood in a fluid form outside the patient body. Right? For that, heparin is added. Heparin acts as a what? Anticoagulant. Right? Now, next thing is what over here, that one, that the heparin is added into blood, and जो टेम्परेचर यहाँ पे मेंटेन करना होता है, दैट इज, पता है आपको, 0 डिग्री. ब्लड को कौन से टेम्परेचर पे लेके आते हैं? 0 डिग्री. बॉडी टेम्परेचर क्या होता है? 37 डिग्री सेल्सियस. अभी आप में से कोई तो ऐसा बोलेगा कि 0 है तो ब्लड फ्रीज हो जाएगा, यस और नो? है ना? नो. व्हाई? Because generally water get freeze at this temperature, yes or no? 0 डिग्री, है ना? इतना केमिस्ट्री में आता है ना. Water get freeze at 0 डिग्री Celsius. But blood में only water is not there. In blood that the salts are also there. So blood का actual जो freezing point है, that is -2 डिग्री to -3 डिग्री Celsius, not exactly 0. Right? Now 0 डिग्री पे लेते, so meaning what over here? Why 0 डिग्री Celsius is required? To prevent the RBC, red blood cells. अगर आपने कभी देखा है ना ब्लड बैंक में, सो जब ब्लड ट्रांसफ्यूजन की रिक्वायरमेंट आ जाती है एक्सीडेंटल केसेस में जनरली, और ऑपरेशनल केसेस में, राइट, व्हेन एक्सेसिव लॉस ऑफ ब्लड इज देयर. सो ब्लड ट्रांसफ्यूजन के टाइम पे जो ब्लड बैंक में से ब्लड आता है, वो बैग्स देते हैं पर्टिकुलर, उसमें ब्लड होता है. दैट बैग्स, इफ यू, आपने अगर मूवीज में कहीं पे देखा है, दैट इज इन अ फ्रीजिंग कंडीशन, मीन्स कोल्ड कंडीशन. राइट? व्हाई? टू प्रिवेंट द RBC, red blood cells. Otherwise red blood cells get destroyed. So to prevent this thing, this condition is required, 0 डिग्री Celsius, once the blood come outside. Right? That is the reason behind that. So one condition is what? जैसे ही ब्लड बाहर आता है, do what? Add heparin. Steps याद रखना. Add heparin, which acts as an anticoagulant, which prevents the blood from clotting and remain in a fluid nature. Second is what? With that, temperature should be 0 डिग्री. Right? Now, next thing, that now the main, now this type of blood in that more heparin is that temperature 0 डिग्री Celsius that enter into this dialyzing unit. Now exactly dialyzing unit कैसा है? देखिए, सपोज ये यहाँ पे ये ब्लड वेसल, मीन्स ट्यूब है, नॉट ब्लड वेसल, ट्यूब, in which the patient blood is there. Here the dialyzing unit. Dialyzing unit is there. Right? Now dialyzing units में यहाँ पे over here the tubes are there. Okay? This tube, wait, I make one more diagram. Or in or here. Through this tube, right, blood enter into this dialyzing unit. Now can you make out here? There's so many branches are there. Iske branch hai. Okay, this thing is required. Why? So agar just imagine karo, a tube hai in which blood is there, branches nahi hai, tube dialyzing mein enter hua and then leave. So for a very shorter period of time, this blood, remain in this dialyzing solution. Okay, enough time period is required actually to purify the blood, to really to get to remove the all urea from the blood, right? So one thing, ये जो dialyzing unit है, in that the tubes are there. Okay, branch structure is there. Branch structure, why branch structure? What is the benefit of that? To keep the blood over here for a longer period of time. Right? Now, here this actually tube-like structures in which the blood is getting, right? That is filled with what? That is made by what? First of all, cellophane tube. This is what? Cellophane tube. Remember, specialized cellophane tube, which has a semi-permeable nature. Which is a what type of nature here? Semi-permeable nature. It's a specialized one, prepared one. याद रखना, semi-permeable. Now, one thing, semi-permeable है. So here simple, by which mechanism the things get transferred? Simple diffusion. Which one? Simple diffusion. And simple diffusion, you know, for that higher concentration, lower concentration substances are moved, right? So see this now first. Just imagine कि यहाँ पे ये क्या है? यहाँ से वो blood flow कर रहा है. Right? Through this one, the blood, here the blood is there. Blood में cells है, blood cells are there, plasma, in that this nitrogenous waste, urea is there, glucose है, gases है, everything. Now, surrounding this blood capillary, blood tube, that dialyzing solution is present. Right? Dialyzing solution. This is the main one. Dialyzing solution. Now, ये जो ट्यूब है वो किससे बना है? Cellophane tube, which shows the semi-permeability nature. Next, this tube has a particular size, actually pores are there. Right? So, selected actually molecule over here that can cross. Now, one more thing that simple diffusion होता है actually यहाँ पे mechanism is what? Simple diffusion. Diffusion, higher concentration to lower concentration. Can you tell me? देखिए blood जो आ रहा है, blood क्यों आता है in hemodialysis? For filtration. Because in blood urea is present. Yes or no? In blood urea is there. Now, so urea concentration over here high in blood. Can you tell me यूरिया का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ये डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन में कैसा होगा? हाई और लो? पहले ये बताओ. यूरिया का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन कैसा होगा? यू नो द mechanism that simple diffusion over here. I have told you. Higher concentration to lower concentration substances move. Obviously, urea over here high. In this part, in blood, urea is high. High to low move करना है. Right? So by this way, the urea that from the blood it come to the which one? Dialyzing solution. Yes or no? Right? Now understand one thing. Actually यहाँ पे तो low भी नहीं, क्या रखते हैं पता है? Nil. यूरिया रखते ही नहीं है. Higher the greater concentration gradient. In blood, higher amount of urea. In dialyzing solution, nil. No urea. Okay, so much gradient is created, and by that way, okay, high to low. Dialyzing solution में तो यूरिया है ही नहीं, right? Blood में यूरिया है, so from the blood, urea that come to the which part? Dialyzing solution. बोलिए पहले इतना clear हुआ?
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Okay, next, one more thing. Now ब्लड में ग्लूकोज भी होता है, देन सर्टेन सॉल्ट्स आर देयर, है ना. सो यहाँ पे भी डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन होगा, यहाँ पे भी डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन. नाउ कैन यू टेल मी फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये ग्लूकोज डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन में आना चाहिए कि नहीं, और दैट शुड रिमेन इन ब्लड. बोलिए. ग्लूकोज जो ब्लड में है, दिस आर द सपोज ग्लूकोज मॉलिक्यूल, इट शुड कम टू दिस डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन. इसको भी रिमूव कर देना है? नहीं करना है, राइट. रिटेन. गुड. रिटेन करना है तो क्या करना पड़ेगा, यहाँ पे जो ये डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन है ना, इन दैट वी हैव टू कीप सेम ग्लूकोज कॉन्सेंट्रेशन. ग्रेडियंट फॉर्म ही नहीं करना है. सेम ग्लूकोज कॉन्सेंट्रेशन, सेम मिनरल कॉन्सेंट्रेशन, राइट. So that will not shows any kind of diffusion over here. अगर दोनों में same है concentration, then no diffusion, right. So simple logic is what over here. From the blood, the compounds which we want to remove, right. तो उसको डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन में रखो ही मत, वो नील कर दो. So वो ब्लड में से अपने आप आ जाएगा by simple diffusion, come outside. And those compounds you want to retain into the blood, then do what? Form isotonic solution, meaning same concentration rakho uska, right. Now not only urea get filtered with this artificial kidney or hemodialysis process, one more compound is that's the creatinine. Creatinine क्या होता है पता है आपको? This compound actually form as a waste product in muscles. Muscle when perform their activity, it needs energy. So muscles में जब energy production process होता है, at that time one of the compound is formed, that is creatinine, which is a waste. So can you tell me, देखिए अभी ये blood में creatinine भी है, muscles activity करते तो creatinine भी आएगा, right? So that creatinine, as I told you, it's a waste product. So डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन में उसका कंसंट्रेशन कैसा होना चाहिए? क्रिएटिनिन को रिमूव करना है, इट्स अ वेस्ट थिंग. सो डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन में उसका कंसंट्रेशन कैसा रखना है? हाई, लो, नील. राइट, करेक्ट. राइट डाउन अदर स्टूडेंट्स योर आंसर. राइट, क्रिएटिनिन शुड बी एब्सेंट. सो यहाँ पे इसका हायर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन है क्रिएटिनिन का इन ब्लड, so that comes outside into this dialyzing solution. So dialyzing solution basically what? जो blood है, right? blood में जो plasma का mainly जो concentration होता है, in that the whatever amount of nutrients are there, salts are there, that is same thing present in this dialyzing solution. Just difference कहाँ पे होगा? In this waste present in blood but not present in dialyzing solution, right. You know total amount of blood actually जो पता है ना per minute ventricle से जो cardiac output होता है 5000 ml, 5 liter is there, right. So completely blood को अगर purify करना है, it needs okay 8 to 10 hours. And when a person okay that come to this stage, that hemodialysis, so this thing actually repeat 3 to 4 times per week. So much time consuming, है ना? 3 to 4 times per week, and per time for hemodialysis it requires 8 to 10 hours, right? Now next, so once the things get filtered out, देखिए फिर आपको ये भी क्वेश्चन आएगा कि इनिशियली, चलो इनिशियल जब फर्स्ट टाइम ब्लड एंटर होता है, एट दैट टाइम डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन में यूरिया नहीं है, राइट. बट जैसे जैसे ब्लड फिल्टर होगा तो इसमें यूरिया आ जाएगा डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन में, यस और नो, है ना। सो टू फिर वो तो अफेक्ट करेगा यूरिया रिमूविंग प्रोसेस को. सो फॉर दैट at regular time interval, can you make out over here that used dialyzing solution, okay, the dialyzing solution जो है used one, that is taken outside. यहाँ पे dialyzing solution जो used हो गया है that is taken outside. यहाँ से continuously उसको add करते रहते हैं. Over here remove, right? Next thing, once the blood get filtered out, so this blood, okay, again pump back to the patient into the which part? Vein. आर्टरी में से कलेक्ट करना होता है, वेन में इंजेक्ट करना होता है, राइट. अभी वन मोर थिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड. यहाँ पे क्या किया था? 0°C एंड हिपेरिन, एक्स्ट्रा हिपेरिन ऐड किया था, राइट. तो ये हिपेरिन एक्टिविटी जो है उसको नलीफाई करना है. तो ओवर हियर एड व्हाट? एंटी हिपेरिन कंपाउंड, राइट. एंटी हिपेरिन कंपाउंड, जितना हिपेरिन ऐड करते हो उतना ही एंटी हिपेरिन. एंड 0°C है तो यहाँ पे बिफोर मीन्स इंजेक्टिंग इनटू द ब्लड वेसल बॉडी ऑफ पेशेंट, it should be come to which temperature? Body temperature 37°C, right. So यहाँ पे इनिशियल स्टेज पे क्या है? 0°C एंड हिपेरिन ऐड करना है. एंड जब रिटर्न करना है ब्लड को एट दैट टाइम एंटी हिपेरिन एंड 37°C, राइट. देखिए यहाँ पे भी एक दिखा है, यहाँ पे ये सेलोफेन ट्यूब है. ओवर हियर cellophane tube is there. On one side of cellophane tube, that blood is there, in that waste products are there, and another is a dialyzing solution. जो waste है जिसको remove करना है तो वो dialyzing में नहीं add करना है. Their concentration should be nil, right? So here higher concentration, here we consider that almost very low actually. Next, so by simple diffusion from higher concentration to lower concentration, the substances move. देखिए हो गया. फिर क्या करना है? ये देखिए अभी डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन में यूरिया ऐड हो गया, तो ये डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन को रिमूव करते रहना है एट रेगुलर इंटरवल एंड न्यू डायलाइजिंग सॉल्यूशन ऐड इन विच नो यूरिया इज देयर. बोलिए आपको ये प्रोसेस पूरा क्लियर हुआ ऑल ऑफ यू कि कैसे करते हीमोडायलिसिस? राइट, यस. बोलिए गालव.
हीमोडायलिसिस से मानस કેટલી જીવી શકે આમ કિડની વગર?
See, so this thing actually depends on patient's willpower. Simple, right? Because this thing actually per week 3 to 4 times and 8 to 10 hours require very long. Okay, hectic actually this thing. So if patient's willpower is strong, it can easily survive for longer period, right?
Yeah.
फिर ऐसे पेशेंट्स में एक्चुअली डॉक्टर क्या सजेस्ट करते हैं? फूड, ओके, इवन फूड जो जिसमें से मोर अमाउंट ऑफ नाइट्रोजन ना मिले वैसे फूड प्रोडक्ट्स को कंज्यूम करने चाहिए. ओके, सो लेस अमाउंट ऑफ यूरिया इज फॉर्म एंड ऑल दैट. कुछ ऑफ प्रिकॉशंस करना पड़ता है, राइट.
ખર્ચો કેટલો થાય?
हाँ,
ખર્ચો કેટલો થાય?
व्हाट गालो?
મેમ ખર્ચો કેટલો થાય?
खर्चो, ओके, हाँ. टू मच कॉस्ट, too much costly technique. Everyone can't afford this thing actually, right? डायलाइजिंग जो सॉल्यूशन होता है दैट इज एक्चुअली द मच मोर कॉस्टली एंड पेशेंट्स के अकॉर्डिंग ये प्रिपेयर करते हैं, राइट?
Yeah.
सो द क्लीन ब्लड जो है नाउ purified blood that is pumped back to the body through a vein, that is the entire hemodialysis technique. When patients, okay, that suffering from uremia, this technique helpful, and this technique actually behaves like a kidney which helps to purify the blood. That's why we can consider it's a one kind of artificial kidney, right? Now next, and actually one more thing, nowadays, okay, so many advanced technologies are there, and due to that this method is a boon for thousands of uremic patients all over the world, right? Next disorder, that is renal failure. Next disorder, that is renal failure. Renal failure meaning what? Simple, kidney failure. Okay, renal failure we consider as a what? Basically that's a kidney failure, means kidney now, or the particularly the glomeruli part, right? Glomeruli filtration that stop, either decrease or what? Stop of the glomerular filtration process, that we can consider as a renal failure or kidney failure. Can you tell me, आपने सुना होगा ना, किडनी फेल हो जाते हैं या फिर कुछ होते हैं, तो फिर डॉक्टर क्या सजेस्ट करते हैं?
Transplant.
Yes, correct. That's a which one? Transplantation, right? And transplantation, you know, on each and every organ, that particular surface proteins are there, their antigens are there, right? So that thing should be checked first of all. Okay, जो वो सब मैच करना पड़ता है, पहले ब्लड ग्रुप मैच करना पड़ता है, फिर एक होता है HLA बोलते हैं, ह्यूमन ल्यूकोसाइट एंटीजन, फिर कौन से एंटीबॉडीज रिसिपिएंट में है, जैसे ब्लड ट्रांसफ्यूजन आपने किया ना, डोनर्स के एंटीजन देखने होते हैं, रिसिपिएंट के एंटीबॉडी, सेम वे ओवर हियर. Okay, that thing should be checked actually now. एंड जनरल ये किसके मैच होते हैं? जो सिबलिंग्स होते हैं, ओके, नियर बाय जो क्लोज रिलेटिव्स होते हैं, सिबलिंग्स मेनली, सो उनके जो होते हैं ये ऑर्गन्स दे एक्चुअली वो मैच कर जाते हैं. सो हियर द minimize, when close relatives are there, then the minimize the chances are for rejection of that grafted organ or transplanted organ, right, by the host immune system. And nowadays modern clinical procedures are there. With the help of that, actually the nowadays the transplantation success of transplantation surgery ratio will higher, right? So many advancement is there in medical science. So renal failure, remember another name, that's a kidney failure, and at that time doctor suggests for the transplantation. Next, that's the renal calculi. ये तो सबने सुना होगा, even some of them you have filled also, na? Stone, kidney
Pathri.
stone. Yes, in Gujarati we call pathri, right? So renal stone or renal calculi, generally in kidney, particularly oxalates compound. Which one? Oxalates. ये ऑक्जेलेट्स किसमें ज्यादा होता है पता है? आप टोमेटो के जो सीड्स होते हैं, सीड्स ऑफ टोमेटो, सीड्स ऑफ ब्रिंजल, सीड्स ऑफ इवन लेडीज फिंगर, भिंडा, राइट? इन दैम एक्चुअली जो सीड्स, वो एक्चुअली सीड्स वी ईट, यस और नो? टोमेटो के सीड्स हम ईट करते हैं, लेडीज फिंगर के ईट करते हैं, राइट? सो इन देयर सीड्स दैट ऑक्सैलेट अमाउंट इज हाई. सो जिसको भी ये स्टोन का प्रॉब्लम होता है ना, डॉक्टर उनको सजेस्ट करते हैं कि ये सारे वेजिटेबल्स आपको नहीं लेने चाहिए. ओके, अदरवाइज क्या होंगे, ये स्टोन साइज इंक्रीज होता है. किसी का बहुत स्मॉल होता है, एमएम में होता है, 2 mm 3 mm, वेरी स्मॉल. स्मॉल साइज अगर होता है, देन डॉक्टर सजेस्ट व्हाट, ड्रिंक प्लेंटी अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर. सो विद द वाटर इट मे कम्स आउटसाइड. लार्ज हो जाता है, देन द सर्जरी इज रिक्वायर्ड टू रिमूव, otherwise it affects the kidney function, right? So these things, they are what, insoluble. These are what, insoluble matter. Soluble होता है तो कोई problem ही नहीं होता, easily come with urine. So stone or insoluble mass of crystallized salts that you call oxalates, okay, that you call what, oxalate, which is formed within the kidney, right? And that actually causes a pain. पता है? Back pain, generally back pain, and gradually it come outside in abdominal. It causes the abdominal pain organ, right? When kidney stone is there, it shows this type of pain. See, this stone can be present in kidney, can be present even in ureter and urinary bladder also. Right? Last disorder, that is the nephritis. Last disorder, that is which one? Nephritis. Itis का meaning क्या होता है? What is the suffix, meaning of suffix itis commonly? पता है? Tonsillitis. Yes, tonsillitis बोलते हैं. Tonsil में inflammation हो जाना. Gastritis, stomach में. Yes. So itis का meaning क्या होता है? Inflammation. कहीं पे भी itis पढ़ा, it's a medical term, right? That shows what, inflammation. Now, so can you tell me ये part क्या, ये word क्या indicate करता है? Glomerulonephritis. Inflammation in which part? Glomeruli, right? Glomeruli जो part है, in that the inflammation occur, and once the inflammation occur in this part, so it affects what? Filtration process, right? And filtration process means now kidneys are there, but can't able to that filter out urea. So again उसको suggest क्या करते हैं doctor? Then hemodialysis, artificial kidney suggest करता है, right? And that you call that is for which disease? Glomerulonephritis. Inflammation of glomeruli of the kidney, right? And nephritis, in general, nephritis, that's another name is Bright's disease. Another name is what? Bright's disease. Right? So inflammation of glomeruli of kidney, that you that you call the glomerulonephritis. Okay. Initial stage अगर है, few glomeruli अगर है, then it's curable. Large number अगर है, then that become non-functional totally.
मैम आ डेडली है.
If severe condition is there, then it become deadly.
Okay.
बोलो, clear છે?
Yes.
With this, I have completed this chapter number 19 entire. Right? Do you have any doubt in this entire chapter? In any topic? Tell me. कोई भी topic, कोई भी word नहीं समझ में आया ये chapter का तो बोलो.